was a CNC programmer, machinist, who I was referred to by another candidate who had interviewed, and they chose not to hire him. When I gave him the news, I did indeed ask him, do you know anyone else who might be able to do this job? And he had mentioned Andrea, gave me her contact information. I called her. She was pleasantly surprised. She was ready to look for a new opportunity, went in and interviewed for the position, and in a short amount of time she was offered the role, making more money than she was making at her current job.
Right now I'm the third shift supervisor. No, I initially started as a machinist in the shop. They had a Swiss turn area that was relatively new, and so they brought me in to help develop that, the processes and train people.
She had worked at 2 or 3 other machine shops, which typically is a male-orientated industry, and she had succeeded and appeared to work well with the other gentlemen in those facilities, so was able to work herself up to a programmer, but was looking for the next step in her career, so the timing was just perfect.
And so I went from inspecting the parts to being a tool changer, really laid the foundation for my machining career, and then I moved to the next company as a machinist, and that's where I was before I came here. Since when I got out of high school, I just didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, so I just got into manufacturing and landed where I did, so it's kind of developed naturally. I mean, I'm interested in how things, you know, work together, and so I do have a mechanical aptitude. I just never applied it before. Well, manufacturing, you can get paid while you do on-the-job training versus collecting college debt for something you may not use later on down the road. Not everybody needs to go to college to make a decent living. So there are a lot of well-paying and good jobs that you can learn. And they posted the third shift supervisor position, and I wasn't sure if I was going to apply for it, to be honest, because it's third shift. I was on first shift. But I am going to school for management, and decided that it would be a good opportunity to get my foot in the door and at least give it a shot. So I put in the internal application, and it turned out pretty well. So.
But I've talked to her several times. I've actually called to see if she could refer some people to me for some other positions I was working on. She did. So the referrals are the ideal way to find other candidates, because most of them will never refer an inferior candidate. So she's been a wonderful person to work with, and I'm just so happy for her that she's now working as a supervisor. We now have been able to place some general labor folks as well. The nice thing is those are almost skilled labor positions. They pay really well, and the people just love working there.
Patty placed somebody out there that they absolutely loved. She sent us a couple of positions, and we've been able to fill, and they've been extremely happy with us. They've given us a lot of kind of different ones, but it's been anywhere from punch press to accounts payable to assembly.
So changing career, changing jobs wasn't on my radar at the time, so I was a little hesitant, but I decided to at least look into it. It's a lot closer to home, and the pay was better, and so I finally decided to at least, look into it and let him give her my information, and kind of evolved from there.
First candidate, Dan Marks, ended up getting a $250 referral bonus, and he was just tickled. Just by giving me a name and a contact number, he got $250. He has since called me back with 2 other referrals. Referrals are just a terrific way to find qualified candidates for many of your open positions.
Patty, she made the process just really seamless and stress-free as possible for a job change anyway. She's a great communicator. Anytime I had a question, she was quick to respond and thoughtful in her responses. So. I have used staffing agencies in the past, and they seemed impersonal in a lot of regards. I mean, they weren't bad experiences, they were just different from what I experienced with Patty. When I talked to her, she sounded like she really knew what she was talking about, and she seemed genuine in what she was trying to convey. I think if I had not been a good fit for the position, she wouldn't have had any problem. I think it's an easy route to go. Having a recruiter works as a buffer in between you and the company, so I can ask for instance, Patty a question that maybe I wouldn't feel comfortable asking the HR person of the company that I wanted to start at. I would encourage anybody to use a recruiting service, especially QPS. My experience with them was really good.